Welcome to Classical Homeopathy with Bill Gray once again. This session, I want to discuss what the experience is like to undergo a homeopathic interview for a chronic condition. So you sign up with a homeopathic doctor, and of course, everyone has their own unique style. So I'm describing what I'm familiar with, but I don't think it's that different for other classical homeopaths. Um, you call, you make an appointment, and typically you schedule, well, an hour to an hour and a half, or in some cases maybe up to 2 hours, 3 hours. It depends on how elaborate the case is and how exactly the homeopath works, of course. The beginning of the interview is kind of conventional. We try to understand what the ailment is in allopathic terms, what the diagnosis is, and indeed whether it's chronic, and what the unique characteristics of it are, the strange, rare, and peculiar aspects of it. And of course, people have multiple ailments, so usually this is a matter of asking about not only their back pain and their migraines, but their allergies or their colitis, but also their arthritis and their vision problems or whatever. And so we spend time elucidating what's unique about those aspects of the person. Then the homeopath will gently move you to a process of asking what's unique about you as an individual. What is stressful to you, and in what unique way is that stressful to you? Maybe we get into this by asking what was going on in your life around the time when the chronic condition first elaborated, because there is a close relationship between the mind and the emotions. And so we want to know, what were the stresses and what was your response to the stresses, and then what's unique about your response to the stresses. We're always looking for any limitation of freedom. We want to know about your general personality, of course, but we're especially focused on any limitations of freedom. Anything about you on the mental, emotional, physical level that is something you're stuck in, that you cannot get out of on your own. And it's that collection of symptoms that create a pattern that we're matching to our database of 7,000 or so remedies. We very usually will go very much back in time to childhood years. What was your childhood upbringing like? What were the stresses or the perceived stresses in childhood? And then as you grew up, what were the key events in your growing up? Positive and negative. What things shaped your personality? What are your goals in life? What are your fundamental goals in life? What we're always looking for is the core essence of the way that you relate in the world, the way that you view yourself in the world. What are your core dreams and goals and challenges, and how you look at things. We're not doing psychotherapy in the sense of trying to give you advice on how to cope or how to better understand yourself, although that often happens in an interview. The goal is to try to understand what's unique about you as an individual, so that we can then match that to a homeopathic remedy in our database. Very often we'll focus, because the subconscious is so important, we'll often focus on dreams or fantasies, even details about dreams. They can reveal a great deal about what's going on inside. It's typical that there's not much of a need for physical examination, although that's in some cases it's useful. But if you've already been to a doctor and you have lab tests and x-rays or whatever, then that information is there as background information, but it's not critical to the choice of the remedy typically. Homeopaths do differ in this. Some put more emphasis on that than others. But there are also homeopaths, including myself, who do consultations by video, whether by FaceTime or Skype or Zoom or WhatsApp. And it turns out that that can be just as effective in a chronic case. We still ask the same questions and we try to get to the same depth. And it seems that video works just as well as live interviews in my experience. The fundamental thing that you want to bring to your consultation is an inquiring mind about yourself. You want to bring honesty and some insight. We're looking for, we're trying to create a safe space where you can explore deeply inside of yourself and find out things that you might not have been able to perceive about yourself before. So it takes a great deal of insight and introversion in this particular moment. So once the remedy then is chosen, then every homeopath has their own way of doing that, and I'll discuss in later videos about potencies and types of styles of prescribing. But what will happen is you will receive the remedy from the pharmacy or maybe from the homeopath directly, and you follow the instructions and take the remedy as instructed. And typically in a chronic case, a follow-up will be in about 6 weeks. It gives us enough time to be able to see if there's a hint of a change. Not a dramatic change, but just a hint of a change, to see if we might be on the right track or not. And then if we don't see a hint of change, it's probably the wrong remedy. If there's a wrong remedy, nothing happens. Doesn't make you worse, doesn't make you better, just nothing happens. So we determine that at 6 weeks. Then if we do see a hint of a change, we go 3 more months. And over that time, there should be a substantial improvement. The pace of change is rapid at first, and then it becomes kind of tail end after that. And chronic cases can take, it depends on the individual, of course, but it typically can take in the range of about 2 years to be completely free of all symptoms. But as I say, there's rapid progress in the first several months if we have the right remedy. So that's a basic overview of what the experience is like to see a classical homeopath. I should add one more thing. They will prescribe one remedy, whether it's different potency styles, but they'll prescribe one remedy, not a combination, and not a complicated series of remedies that you take on some kind of a schedule. It'd be one remedy and then wait and see the effect of that at 6 weeks and then at 3 months. And hopefully things will be getting better by then. So that's the experience of undergoing a homeopathic chronic consultation. Thanks very much for listening. I'll try to talk about potencies next.